Hello there, everybody. Good morning and welcome. This is actually our third episode of the series United We Thrive, and it's a very special one because we are hosting this as part of the FIWARE Smart Fest. Our 3-day conference day started just yesterday, and we have been having a wonderful time. So, hello to you, Max. Hi, Max.
Hi.
Hi. We have wonderful guests joining us today. We will introduce them in a bit. So we have here Professor Salvachúa from the University Polytechnica de Madrid. Hi, Professor Salvachúa.
Hello. Good morning. Thanks for the
How are
invitation.
you?
Fine. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah.
We're very glad to be here.
Yes, we are very pleased to have you with us as well. We also welcome here Álvaro Alonso from the very same university, University Polytechnica de Madrid. Good morning to you, Álvaro.
Good morning, everyone. So it's a pleasure for me to be here today.
Yeah, well, the pleasure is ours. So the idea here today is for us to talk about evangelism in the context of technology. So I'm very pleased to bring on board now my colleague Charlotte Cotterman, who will be giving us an overview on what evangelism means in the context of technology. And then we move on to Professor Joaquín Salvachúa. Charlotte, take it away.
Thank you, Val. Yes, FIWARE Evangelists are the voices of a worldwide community that supports open source technology and fuels business and innovation. And from developers to entrepreneurs to tech experts and thought leaders, this group of people is really representing the FIWARE community whenever they can and wherever they go. And they are hereby helping to foster the development of a new generation of interoperable solutions and services based on open standards and pave the way for the data-driven economy. So in this session, we will be speaking to 4 evangelists who are spreading the word through their technological know-how and experiences with FIWARE. So I ask all the attendees to sit back and be inspired as they discuss the work that they do, why they have chosen to work with FIWARE, as well as how it all came about for them, and really discover how they themselves can get involved too.
Thank you, Charlotte. Well, I have to be honest, we couldn't have handpicked better evangelists. I think the guys we have here today are very committed, they're very passionate about FIWARE. And Professor Salvachúa, I will start with you. And I have to be very honest, I tried memorizing your bio, but there are so many technical words there.
Don't worry. I have done a lot of things, so don't worry.
I think I stopped at the word what was it that I had here? DHT. And I was like, I will kindly ask you to introduce yourself very briefly. And we do this here in the show. We always ask our guests to tell us something peculiar about themselves, something that we might not associate you with. So just very briefly introduce yourself, the areas of research that you focus on, and then we move on to the first questions.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm the professor in UPM, and we are in the telematic department and telecommunications, so we do a lot of things. So I teach and research on databases, big data, machine learning, blockchain, and WebRTC. So there are different things that are completely apart, but all together mixed with something like FIWARE, for example, that have all these kind of requires and knowledge. Well, for me, something special is that I'm, let's say, a junkie of learning. I'm continually learning different things. I have not only technical, I have to read a lot of things, not just on this. And for example, I'm quite a fan of Renaissance philosophy, for example. That's something that I try to learn with this kind of environment to change the mind.
Okay. Well, I just want to say very thank you for joining us today. We have a lot of people joining us, so good morning to you all from wherever you're joining. And Professor Salvachúa, first things first, let's look at the concept and just enlighten us on what being a FIWARE evangelist entails.
Yes. Well, I'm a technical person, so my perspective has been technical. And I try to explain first the concept behind FIWARE, that is the key point for moving the data economy in Europe. Most people, when you tell about them, really recognize it. And I try to explain then the different technologies. One different from another solutions is that we are based on open standards and we are open software. So this means that we are not really selling things because we want them to be our customers. We just want them to use the technology because it's very good. And also it's a complete solution for them. So explaining this in different conferences, going to other open source communities and explain the solution. And also, in our case, giving courses and lectures in university in different open environments, really for us, make it very easy to be an evangelist, because let's say that it's very comfortable to communicate all these things because let's say that we really believe in this. We really believe that this is a solution that and they can really start using it almost from the start.
Yeah. So would you say that the best skill that a FIWARE evangelist has to have is really believing in the open source?
Yes, exactly.
Movement and the open standards and the things that the potential that it really has for smart cities, smart industry, energy, agri-food, smart water. There are so many domains now that is benefiting from open source technology. Is that correct?
Yes, and also especially that Europe should have found their way here, and being in this solution in open source for us is the key for Europe and for the evolution in the different countries.
Yeah. So tell us now very briefly. I know that we are on the clock here and we have to be brief on the questions, but I'd love to hear from you. When did you join FIWARE Evangelism, and how long then have you been, and how has the ride been for you?
Well, I have been researching my emails, and I think that the first one I have is 11 years because I have been in FIWARE since the start.
Yeah.
I was in the formation in the first project, so I was believing from the start with this. I have phases. In some phases I didn't see it didn't work properly, but it really succeeded. And most of the people I talk with, they are amazing that we are surviving for so many years in such complex environment. So let's say that it have evolved a lot, but in the right way. I think right now what the foundation is doing is really the way to go for this.
Yeah, but if I may, and this is really my last question, are you surprised by the maturity and the growing of adoption of FIWARE technology at all?
Yes, and I have found that a lot of people didn't believe this in the start, but now really everything is quite mature and ready to use. This means that the companies, not only the technical people, are ready to use this in a very easy way.
Yeah. Very nice. Professor Salvachúa, I could be here all night, all day talking to you. You were an absolutely pleasure to talk to, but we need to move on. So Max, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you. Well, our second guest today will be Alvaro Alonso, also from the university in Madrid, so the Politecnica. And he holds a Ph.D. and is an assistant professor there. And his research interests cover multi-video conferencing systems and security management and smart context data management. So, and also, of course, open public data. And so welcome, Alvaro. Nice to have you with us today. And why did you decide to become a FIWARE evangelist?
Yeah, hi, good morning. Thank you, Max, for the introduction. It's difficult to know where I begin to be an evangelist. I think it was not a specific moment because in the same way that Joaquín, I have been working on FIWARE and disseminating FIWARE technology from the very beginning, organizing hackathons, boot camps, promoting the FIWARE mission, and answering to the question about the reason about why I decided to become evangelist and to start this mission. I think it's very simple. The answer is very simple because I really believe in FIWARE as and FIWARE components as technologies for enabling new services and new applications development today. totally based on standards and on open source. And I really believe on open source software as software for enabling new services and new components development. And in this scope, using open source projects, the dissemination and the promotion of the initiatives is crucial, because without a community supporting the development with work, with new ideas, with new proposals, with fixes to the things that the main developers do not perfectly, an open source community is impossible to success. So I think that the main reason is that, to support the dissemination in order to get more and more people involved in FIWARE and to make FIWARE better every day.
Yeah, thank you. So if you had to pick one technical thing, what would you say is the most practical thing about FIWARE technology?
I think I cannot choose one, because it's a big ecosystem of components with software for doing a lot of things, for developing very different services and applications. But of course, the core components, context broker, security components, big data and analysis components probably are the main important ones, because are probably in every FIWARE-based development.
Yes, I think that also fits your research somehow with the security management. Yeah, it sounds really great. Thanks for the insights. And yeah, what would you say, what are the ways that FIWARE Evangelists use to promote FIWARE technologies and standards?
Yeah, of course, there are many, but talking from our point of view, from the university point of view, we have two main ways. On the one hand, we have the academic part of our tasks as professors, and we are promoting FIWARE, explaining the technologies in our lessons, but also using these technologies for or proposing the technologies to students for developing their final degree projects and also their thesis, their research thesis. And on the other hand, we have the second pillar of the work of professors at university, that is the one related with research. And of course, here the ways for disseminating FIWARE are also many. But basically, we include FIWARE in the proposals we do for projects, but not only for, let's say, public funded projects, but also the projects we do with private companies, which we try always to use FIWARE components as enablers of the things companies develop. And yeah, I can say that we are successing here, because many companies are nowadays introducing FIWARE technologies as part of their business and as part of their software and their products development.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for your work and also the academic insights we get here. That's quite interesting. And yeah, well, please go on with our...
So what are your key takeaways now for why I should become a FIWARE evangelist?
I think that you will provide a technology that will change Europe and the world. So this is the main objective: change society with this, and help them to move to more intelligent devices and cities, more comfortable and more easy to live.
Well, thank you. Alvaro, do you want to add something?
Yes, just exactly the same reason that Joaquín has just exposed, but also taking into account that you are using open source software, open source initiative. So the collaboration of the community is crucial for ensuring the success of the components. So all the effort you put on developing, on improving the component, the initiative, and so on, will also revert on your own benefit, because we are all of us working together to improve, in this case, FIWARE, but yeah, any open source community or software.
Okay, thank you.
You have the skills, you have the passion, and you have the time. So here's the email address. We're going to add it here later on, press.office@fiware.org. So just contact us and we'll be very thrilled to welcome you on board. So this is the end of our session. I want to say a massive thank you to our guests today, Professor Salvachúa, my colleague Charlotte Cotterman, Max, Professor Álvaro Alonso. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. Have a good afternoon, you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.